our first topic, which is so yesterday, because I was going to put a show together, but apparently the internet was interneting. It was just a bunch of mess that was going on. So we already spoke the other day about Kevin Feige speaking out about like the shape of the MCU and how it was pretty much like it was just oversaturated and they were just trying to flood the zone instead of focusing on quality. I mean, the quality work instead of just trying to put so much on the Disney Plus channel, plus in the theaters. It became overwhelming for the fans. And it also felt like homework at times, which even for me as a fan, I've always felt like it was homework. I'm not gonna break that down. I already did a whole separate video on that. So y'all can check it in the, on my channel. I have the video up. Y'all can pretty much watch my overall thought of that. Because I don't want to repeat myself. But yesterday it came out that there was a story. I think it was courtesy of Comic Book Movie. And they were saying that they still don't have a director for Blade or X-Men. So I was ready to come on here and talk about that, but apparently there's another story that came out. So right after, what had happened was they're saying that the director of Thunderbolts is actually in talks to direct the new X-Men movie. So yeah, I'm going to combine both topics together because I just feel like that's kind of what needs to happen because it was basically about both shows. So I was like, where is that story, by the way? Because it's like my notes is all over the place. Okay, so I have it. So basically, Jack Schreier, who, directed Thunderbolts. I enjoyed Thunderbolts. I did a review of Thunderbolts along with the box office, all that good stuff. So now they're looking at him because of Thunderbolts that they want him to direct X-Men, which I'm thinking he might actually be a good idea because when you watch Thunderbolts, you realize that he's really good at assembling different characters with different personalities from all over aspects of who were all in different movies. He was able to bring them all together in one full group and make it work. And I feel like that's what needs to happen when it comes to X-Men, that you can pull some people in and from all different places and try to work out those personalities. I really think that he's good at the whole personality thing. I also think, because now I'm thinking about it, because I told y'all the other day why I was mad, like all of a sudden, why after all this clever marketing that y'all did, after opening weekend, y'all decided to reveal that they're the new Avengers. I'm thinking that it was panicking. That Disney got in panic mode and decided to reveal that because they sort of numbers was a numbering. The numbers was like $75 million opening weekend, which is pretty low for a MCU movie. It's like Brave New World brought in more money on their opening weekend. I mean, it fizzled afterwards. It went downhill afterwards. I think all the people who wanted to see the movie saw it during opening weekend and maybe a couple of days after, people got to see what they wanted to see. And then after that, people just like, okay, it's not a good movie and it made what it made. But Thunderbolts actually is that movie that I feel like is good, that people should see it, that word of mouth will help it. But I do feel like that they got in panic mode and now they're not trusting that the audience will come out and see these films because they've been burned in the past by so many MCU movies that they feel like, well, we had to reveal that they're the Avengers. And now people will have to go to the movies to find out how do they become the new Avengers and things like that. So I feel like it was that whole thing was panic. Now now that I thought about it, because I was sitting there asking it, like, why would they do that? I really feel like they panicked and they're not trusting that the word of mouth is going to be enough. But I'm like Sinners, I just think that you just need to be patient and just wait to see how week 2 does. Now, if week 2, it kind of falters a little bit, then I'd be like, okay, look, the strategy, we need to reveal the new Avengers angle. So I would have did that instead of opening weekend. I'm like, God damn, let people get a second to see the movie before y'all start spoiling stuff. But anyway, so now I just want to get out of the way before I get to this. So, and before I forget. So it is unknown, they said, where things stand in the deal-making process, but insiders said that following a meeting this past week, Schreier looks to be the top choice to take on one of the studio's most anticipated projects. Michael Leslie penned the script with Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige producing. Now, Marvel Studio had no comment. So they said that the studio has been taking its time in finding the right person to take over directing duties and has made it clear it doesn't want to rush the process. Similar to how it handled pitches from potential writing candidates last year. Now, after months of meetings, momentum started to favor Schreier when early reactions to Thunderbolts began to trickle out about a return to form for Marvel Studios. The film opened with an impressive 162 million global take, as well as some of the best reviews in years for Marvel. So Marvel and Schreier had incredible experience working together on Thunderbolts, a film that has since won over critics and fans, becoming Marvel's best reviewed film since Spider-Man No Way Home in 2021. While their recent meeting sealed the deal, Marvel execs were well aware how much Schreier loved the X-Men comics, an early sign that he would ultimately get one of those meetings to pitch his vision of what a new X-Men movie would look like. Even before the reactions began to come out about how impressive Thunderbolts was, studios already were trying to get in business with the director, but sources say in recent days he has begun turning down jobs as all signs were pointing to him landing one of the coveted directing openings in town. It's hardly a surprise that Marvel would stay in-house with this film, given how often it has rewarded directors with big assignments following the success of previous jobs. And that is what they do, because remember with the Russo brothers, when they did the last two Captain America movies, Civil War, and then they did why do I always forget the other one with with George St. Pierre? I'm always forgetting the name of that damn movie, and that's actually one of my favorite movies, but I'm drawing a blank. Excuse me. But yeah, when the Russo brothers came along and Winter Soldier. I don't know why I couldn't remember that damn name. So it's funny enough, as I'm typing it in, I put CAPT, and then it comes to my damn brain. So yeah, when they directed those two movies, then they were like, "Oh my god, y'all did such a great job with those films, even surpassing the first one. That we're gonna bring this guy in. I mean, the Russos in to direct the last two Avengers movies. Hence why I see why they're bringing him in for these other two Avengers movies, because." When it ain't broke, don't fix it. And they've been faltering a lot lately. So there's a little desperation, it feels, on Disney's part. So far, you're on the right track. Even though it does reek of desperation on the type of choices that you're making in regards to directors. But if this guy is a fan of X-Men, now, I'm not mad at this news. I hope he actually does get it. And I'm hoping to see where he goes with it. But I did hear that one of the actresses, I've heard two things. One, Patrick Schwarzenegger, they're looking at him for a part in the X-Men movies. They haven't said who they want him to play. I'm guessing Cyclops. I could definitely see him playing Cyclops. They also said that there's a rumor going around that the young lady that played oh my god, what's it? Tuck, I think was the character's name in the Avatar movies, is up for Jubilee. So there's those two rumors are floating around. I hope that they got Sadie Sink as Jean Grey. I would love to see that. But then again, they would be like, well, I wonder how old is Patrick Schwarzenegger, because it kind of will look a little like she looks a little childish versus looking at him and all the other stuff. I would have been like the girl that was that survived that last horrible freaking. I would as Jean Grey, the one that survived that horrible freaking The Strangers movie, because she has the red hair and the voluptuous body. I would have been like her, but I don't know. It's all about chemistry and all that other stuff. So if he does get the part as a director, I'm not mad at it, and I'm definitely looking forward to what the Russo brothers are going to bring with this other movie, with Secret Wars and Doomsday. Although I already know how I feel about Robert Downey Jr. as Doomsday, I still don't see it. I need to see trailers. I need to see something to ease my mind, but I'm still not 110% sold on this whole thing. So in regards of the director of Thunderbolts, I like the movie. I like the overall tone. I like the subject matter that they discuss, especially with mental health and stuff. So to see what he does with X-Men, I'm here for it. So I don't feel bad. I mean, if he gets the situation. Okay, so now in regards of Blade, let's talk about the David S. Goyer, who you know, or maybe you don't know, wrote all three Blade movies. We already know about Blade Trinity. Blade Trinity is the one that most people do not like. It was not a good movie. The script also wasn't that great. Ryan Reynolds, although yes, the body was body, it looked like he had that same body from Amityville Horror, but for the most part, some of the lines and stuff he was literally doing Deadpool before we even knew he was going to do Deadpool. That's basically what he was bringing with Hannibal King, and I would love to see Hannibal King back on the big screen in some different type of iteration. And I would love to see Blade back on the screen. But I don't know why nobody thought about the fact of, okay, well, maybe why haven't everybody just went over to met up with David S. Goyer and be like, he wrote all the other Blade movies. We love the first one. We love the second one. The first one, we still talk about to this day. Like whenever, even if I'm not in the mood to watch the full Blade movie, I will put it on just for that opening sequence where they're at the bloodbath, the club scene. That's literally like the best opening of it. And I don't care what nobody say. Go argue with your mammy. But but that opening sequence is one of my favorite opening sequences ever in a superhero comic book movie. So that scene is forever iconic, especially the way like the partying, the clubbing, everything, people, kids raving, because that was literally me at that age. I mean, back in the day, because I don't know how old they was in that demo, but I was young, out doing the raves and things. But it was like, yeah. So doing all of that and being a part of that and seeing that world depicted on the big screen, it's just something like, why didn't they look at Dave Goyer? They were going to everybody else. But he was the one that actually cracked the code on making Blade cool. And that was the way that that was the best introduction to bringing Blade, just coming in, everybody's moving to the sides, the day walker, they scared, and he goes and kicks everybody's ass and starts staking vampires. Excuse me. So it was a cool opening. So, yeah. So in regards to that, Dave Goyer actually spoke out and is wondering what the hell is taking him so long over there. So he recently told Screen Rant that he is more than ready to answer the call should Kevin Feige's Marvel Studios need him to write Mahershala Ali's long-delayed Blade movie. Goyer, as you know, is no stranger to the franchise, as I stated, because he wrote all the previous movies. And we already know there was drama that happened on Blade Trinity, so I always give that movie the benefit of the doubt. But for the most part, if you wrote three of the scripts and two out of the three was good, then I think that trumps anything else. So I'm not gonna hold you too bad on the third one. Because at least you gave us two out of the three scripts that was good. So he said, if asked if he would come back to write the script, he said, I would. I've always loved the character and I love him. This is what he said when asked if he would write Marvel's Blade reboot for the MCU. He said, quote, I've been sitting on the sidelines wondering what in the world is going on. Why is it taking so long? Because I'm a huge Marvel fan myself, and I've just been totally puzzled. He also wrote Man of Steel, and he also wrote The Dark Knight. So Dave Goyer knows what he's doing. He's a good writer. He's written a lot of really cool things, and so I would love to see him take this on. Now, Marvel originally announced his Blade movie with Ali in July of 2019, but development has been rocky as several writers and directors have come and gone over the years. Bassam Tariq was the first director to join the movie, but he exited in September 2022, roughly 2 months before it was set to begin shooting. Several screenwriters have also been announced through the years, from Watchmen scribe Stacey O.C. Kuffour to Michael Starbury, and also y'all remember that Bo DeMeo even wrote a draft. Jan DeMange, who was behind Lovecraft Country, was another director who exited the franchise, and that was back in June. So, and then they went on to say that Kevin Feige told Black Tree TV last summer during the press tour of Deadpool and Wolverine that not rushing the Blade movie has been a big priority for the studio, saying, I mean, for the last 2 years, we've been trying to crack that movie. The most important thing for us is not rushing it and making sure we're making the right Blade movie. Well, that's good and all, but you do know that Mahershala Ali is not getting any younger. The man is already half a century old. He's in his 50s. And yes, while Black may not crack and may he look youthful on the outside, remember, them insides is a whole nother situation. And I understand, like, when it comes to stunt work and it comes to all this stuff, you could fake a whole lot and get a bunch of stunt people to come in and handle a lot of the heavier lifting if you're not going to be able to do all the crazy stunts that is required in the movie. Because trust and believe, Wesley Snipes had a stunt double too. I know a lot of y'all probably think he did everything himself, but trust and believe, he had a stunt double as well. He had somebody going in doing the craziest stuff. But for the most part, he was doing majority of the fights and all that other stuff. So he's not getting any younger. Number two, why announce something 6 years ago if y'all didn't have it together? Like, y'all should at least have some kind of idea, some kind of outline. But I just feel like y'all were doing kind of like what DCU is doing right now. We're just going to come up with a plan and talk about 10 movies. We don't have any idea of what the scripts are going to be about, or if somebody's going to be able to crack the code or come up with a draft that we all agree on. But let's just come up with a list so we can get everybody excited. And then years later, you're like, okay, so what's going on with those movies? Same thing I've been saying about DCU. What's going on with the Brave and the Bold? What's going on with all the other movies that y'all mentioned? I just saw the trailer for Peacemaker season 2 earlier, so we know that's coming. And the Batman 2, we're gonna talk about that later on. But there were so many things that Booster Gold, what's going on with that? I was trying to remember the damn name of that movie. So what's going on with Booster Gold? I'm hearing that y'all reworking the scripts on a bunch of other things. So don't announce things if y'all don't have stuff at the ready. So I'm hoping that y'all can figure it out what's going on. I definitely would love to see Blade back on the big screen. I definitely would love to see Dave Goyer, at least, like, even if they don't, I would even ask, oh, or is it a payment thing that has to go on with that? Excuse me. I would literally write a spec script, even if they didn't ask me. I would just, if I got time, or whatever, I would just work on a draft or whatever, and I would just have my agent kind of like throw a little something out in the street, see if they, MCU catches it, and go in and pitch. Even if they didn't ask me, I'm just like, okay, I wrote something. Y'all can look at it. If you're here for it, okay. If you're not, you're or whatever. But I don't know. There may be some things that you got to go through in order for that to happen, or maybe it is time and money and all the other stuff for me to sit down and actually write a draft of something. But that's what I would have did. So yeah, so that's the latest on Blade and X-Men. So I want to hear from you all. What do you guys think of this story? Would you like to see Dave Goyer come and give his opinion on a Blade script, like write a new Blade script, since they can't understand how to crack the code, or at least come on board and give them some ideas on what they can do? Because I don't understand, what is taking Blade so long? There's so many comics with him that they could figure out what the hell's going on with that. And then do you like the idea that the director of Thunderbolts is allegedly on board to direct the upcoming X-Men reboot, which I'm sure that they're going to start filming that soon. That's got to be in like 2026, so that way we can have that in like 2027 or 2028. So they've got to figure out because I'm sure that that's what they're working on right now. We're talking about X-Men. If X-Men is going to be put in Doomsday, if it is Doomsday, then yeah, y'all need to start locking in actors. Y'all need to start looking at people. You need to start doing chemistry tests. Y'all have to have a script ready, and y'all got to be ready to shoot next year. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below.